This is the June 10th, 2021 Harbor Management Commission Mooring Committee meeting beginning at 4 p.m. This is Jack Hirschler. Who do we have on the call? Do we have Harbor Master Ed Billings?
Yes.
Ed's on the call. Kim Taylor, are you on?
Yep, I'm here.
And Jeff Stedman, are you on?
Yes.
Okay. And Harry French, are you on? Okay, Harry is absent today. Let's begin. The first item on today's agenda is the Harbor Master's Report. And Ed, I have your notes, but I'll let you cover them.
Okay, hold on just 1 second here. Sorry for the delay. Okay, over the past month, we've seen a slight increase in the waitlist applicants on online mooring. It's currently 72, and 3 of those 72 will be vacating as soon as they enter their necessary vessel information, whether it's registration and or insurance documentation. And I've reached out to several others who are still delinquent, one in person at Pequot Yacht Club the other day about furnishing required documentation. Some of them treat it lightly. Others are more proactive in getting their information to me. But other than that,
ask a question so I don't lose
sure.
this. On the point about the 3 people coming off the waiting list and being assigned permits, what's the timing looking like for that? I'm trying to think about the processing of the issuance in the system.
I would say that would be in the next week or 2. Certainly by the traditional cutoff date of July 15th. I reached out to one person who was coming off the wait list. He has the boat. He's ready to bring it into the harbor. And I was like, can you get me that information in the next day or 2? Because I'd like to expedite it if possible, which he said he would not have the opportunity to get to DMV during that time. So, advised him as to, what to do, and, we try to work through that. The other people are, I didn't have a chance to talk to a couple of them. One of them is out of the country, but I would say within a few weeks.
Okay. So we'll need to be sure we're on the same page on who those 3 people are and where they are in the transition here. So, good. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But the moorings have been assigned, so on and so forth. Everybody knows where they're going and like that. I have reached out to various people, but haven't really heard anything further about the donated whaler from Pequot, other than Pequot has prepped the boat as they said that they would by removing decals, cleaning it up a little bit. They changed fluids in the motor lower unit and painted the bottom. So it's ready to go and sitting over on the Perry Green. I did advise them at least 2 weeks ago that the transfer has not taken place officially, so still pay proper attention to water accumulating in it and so on and so forth, because it's still your boat. So they understood that. On Tuesday, I presented all of my paper documentation that is in my possession at the FOIA meeting with Attorney Seaman, and an electronic file was also copied that day by the risk manager at Town Hall, Pat Egan, and was sent out to the attorneys, Seaman, Casey, and myself. I think that was Pat's initial email, and then I passed it on to Deep, Chairperson Taylor, Mr. Stedman, and Attorney Baldwin. I'm sure there may be some clarification that might need to be disseminated going forward, but the actual meeting at Town Hall went fine. It lasted about 2.5 hours, give or take. Let's see. My last point is, I know some of the rules have already been updated on the online mooring, and one of the newest applicants has already uploaded his Connecticut Safe Boating Certificate. So that additional line item seems to be working quite well. And I have had a couple of conversations with various permittees, and just for clarification of the rules. But after a little bit of discussion, everyone was very comfortable with the anticipated changes. And that, other than answering any questions, is my report.
So, Ed, this is Kim. I have a question. Did the documents that were turned over included the documents that Lou turned over to you?
Yes.
Turned over to, made available to Attorney
Right.
Casey. And
Mm-hmm.
did we have any from Pat Carroll?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some. It's waitlist. I mean, that, and as I explained it to Attorney Seaman at the time, I said, these really aren't in the FOIA request. So, to save time, I just held back on a couple of them back in the 80s and early 90s, and he didn't have any issue with that. In fact, he went through a couple of them. Very old wait lists from the 90s up to maybe, 94, 96. It was just, basically your wait list application. What else? The list that is usually posted over Town Hall. Number 1 through whatever it was. Yeah. And there was one year, I forget which one it was. It might have been 2018. That Lou had docked vessel information, and so that was. I think he copied a number of those files. So.
Okay, but my question was that we've covered all the bases. I mean, in terms of people's files. And
those records went back, more than the amount of years that he had originally requested.
Okay, good.
And Ed, just to confirm, the file database of stuff in online mooring has already and previously been provided to Attorney Casey, correct? It was, I think you took out confidential information.
I sent him. I was trying to compile everything through online mooring just to make it. Because there was a number of addresses which a lot of them did not correspond to anyone who had reached out to obtain a mooring or inquire. So I just I went back to Brad. So that covers the past 2 years. And he sent a file, and perhaps there's more questions regarding that, but I forwarded that along to Attorney Casey.
Right. So just my perspective is that between the boxes that Council went through yesterday and your previously sent extract from the online mooring system, that is our FOIA response to his request. That completes what we need to provide, I think.
Yes, it is. Now, I feel obligated to add that there are some emails on this computer here that I'm in front of right now that he might be interested in seeing. If so, we're happy to provide that. But in talking with the IT specialist, vis-a-vis going forward, the next couple of weeks, he said everything that goes through any Fairfield.org email is automatically saved on the server. So, if there's any problem going forward, everything can be handled right through IT, which I did not know. And, I spoke with Tom, I thanked him for providing that. So, if there's any question, but
Okay.
Great.
Any other questions for Ed? So, Ed, just to sort of reiterate, I think as a follow-up item, probably between you and me, with respect to these people that are being assigned from the wait list, I just need to be clear about who those are and what needs to be input into the online mooring system to affect those assignments after you're not using the system anymore. So just we'll have to coordinate on that, because those sound like they're going to happen very soon, but probably
I think
not for the next week or two.
Right. Yeah.
So I imagine there's some systems work that I don't know how to do that we'll have to get accomplished to issue those permits to those people.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we've covered both the report but also the FOIA request, unless there are any other questions or comments relative to the Harbor Master's report and the FOIA request for Mr. Owens. Okay. Next item on the agenda was just, and Ed alluded to this in his report, the online mooring system updates in order to support the recently enacted mooring rules and procedures. And I received an email from Brad Hurley at Online Mooring after I sent him the updated rules and procedures, indicating to him in the margins the things that were changes that might have effect in the online mooring system. And let me just run through for our records his response already processed in the system. So he says he's updated the strike 1 and strike 2 logic so they won't record a strike 2 in the same year as a strike 1. So that's the rule we did about same calendar year, you don't get a strike 2. He says he's updated the applications that are not for the North Anchorage so that during the permit application and renewal will require the safe boating certificate. And as Ed just mentioned, that's already apparently working just fine. And since it doesn't expire, he set the system to only ask for this one time after they've submitted it. We don't need to ask for this again. I checked the state's system, and it indicates that they're still making this a one-and-done certificate, so I think we're good on that. Third item was to get a list of the current individual private moorings and who's assigned to them. He told us the instructions for how to do that, and that would exclude the North Anchorage moorings, which are now set up as a type called North Anchorage moorings to distinguish those moorings. The fourth thing that he did was change the approval rules so that nobody with a South Benson permit or grandfathering, so those things are going to be manually dealt with by the harbor master, and won't require any system changes to accomplish those. And one moment here, I'm dealing with a family dog issue complaining. All right, number 5, the deadlines for the wait list assignment are going to be handled manually by the harbor master, so there's no system controls around that. And the changes to the North Anchorage under our new rules to be effective in January said that they might warrant some further discussion, but he understands that PYC is going to continue to record inspections on the moorings for the North Anchorage, as well as all the others in the harbor, but we would not be entering who is assigned to each mooring in the system on a go-forward basis. Online mooring, or Pequot Yacht Club will be maintaining that in a separate database. He notes that we charge 2 fees for parts of the mooring permit, the mooring tackle maintenance fee with a maximum of $255 and the permit fee currently maxed at $200. And based on the wordings in our new rules and procedures, it sounds like we, Online Mooring, should charge PYC the maximum permit fee of $200 times the number of moorings, which is 51, and not charge anything for mooring tackle maintenance. And I confirmed to him that his understanding was correct. And then finally, he set up a new application type called a North Anchorage bulk permit. And he had previously had bulk permits for other harbors in his system. So this is not new for them. In that bulk permit for North Anchorage, we captured just the applicant information and the number of moorings, and don't ask for any vessel information, mooring information, or any attachments, and that would be those issued to Pequot Yacht Club.
Great.
And he suggested that the way he set this up would allow the history in the system to show the holders of those 51 separate individual permits in the system for year 2021 and prior. And I think that's a good idea for us to have those records maintained in the system. So by creating this new bulk permit, we don't lose the history of the individual permits given for those 51 moorings in the past. Any questions? Those are all done and programmed at this point. So I don't think, unless folks can remind me of anything that was missed here, that there's anything else that we'll need to program in time for January.
This is Kim. The fee for the wait list, we're letting that go for 2022? Or are we expecting 2022 to be charged?
You didn't mention that. You know what? That's a good point, and I will have to follow up with him on that. Good point.
Okay.
I missed that one. I'm making a note.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else that you caught? Okay.
What about, actually, no, that's it. I don't know, nothing else.
Okay. The next item on the agenda was just a question about notice to boaters using the online mooring system's email system to let them know about the fact that they need to get the safe boating certificate under the new rules before they renew next year and beginning of the year. Ed, have you sent that email to everybody in the system?
I'm sorry, I have not, but I will try to do that very soon.
Yeah, I mean, there are courses being offered over the summer. It'd be a good time for anybody who does not have one to get one, so they're not scrambling next winter to get it.
Yeah, and maybe we should at that point also a note should go to the waitlist applicants that they will be charged. It hasn't happened yet, has it? Maybe no.
Yeah, we probably have to wait for the town code to be approved.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. We don't want to do that ahead of time. Yep.
Right. The safe boating certificate issue doesn't require code changes, so that's
right. And you're right, Jack. I mean, it's easier to find, I think, a course over the summer than it is during the winter.
Right, and I just don't want to make people feel like we haven't given them a lot of notice of a requirement that they should have already satisfied to be operating their boats anyway. But I can imagine it'll frustrate people if they hear too late. So those were all the items I had on the agenda. Is there any other business that we should address today? Jeff, Ed, Kim.
I'm not really aware of anything. I think that I guess the only question is if there are folks who folks who have a mooring assignment but have not yet submitted all their documentation.
They don't have a permit, and the system is still showing them as pending, right, Ed?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then the other three were the ones I was asking about, which are the people on the wait list who are being assigned. The same kind of issue here. I don't know how to do that processing, and I don't know when we're going to get the documents provided.
I'll send out an email to those people tonight and see if I can get a response out of them.
At a minimum, I think Kim and I were going to need a list of the status of all of them as you wind things up here, so that and who they are, so
Absolutely.
that we can deal with them after you're not here to deal with them.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
we're not going to know whether
it's-
they submitted the stuff either, because we don't, we're not going to be in the system
Right.
like you are.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I'm concerned that if we don't know who they are, then they're going to not submit anything all summer long, if they don't have to. Especially if
Right,
they
and
let
their boats
let it go
shouldn't be in the
then.
harbor
Yeah.
anyway right now, right?
Yeah,
Are any of these boats
Yeah.
actually in the harbor, even though they're not permitted?
No, I don't believe they are.
And we can certainly let them know
And
they're not allowed
Yeah.
to be.
they can't. Theoretically, they can't come in. Does Jeff Engborg have this list? Does he know who? He must know who they are, right? If they're yacht club people.
No, he does not have the list. I could CC him the list of people who should not be allowed in the harbor.
Right. I mean, he doesn't have to
Well, I
police
think that
it.
would
we
be
can
appropriate.
deal with that, but he
Yeah.
should at least let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're not asking him to police it, just to inform us.
Yeah.
Right.
Or could Ed is it easy to copy Jack or me on that?
Oh, I could do it. Yeah, as long as I'll just have to cull out those people that who have not fully complied. So
Yeah. I mean, what's missing, who they are, and what's missing is pretty much what we need.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then we can.
okay.
And then, if Jeff knows that too, he just needs to let us know if a boat shows up and they haven't been permitted yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Ed, you mentioned that Justin Cathcart was interested in the work that you do. Have you heard from him? And he was going to talk to Anthony about.
Yeah, I have not heard
Perhaps
from him
helping us
today.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
I spoke with him early yesterday.
Okay.
No firm updates on that.
Okay.
Just you're mentioning Justin raised another question. What's the status of obtaining the assignees to the Perry Green moorings that are administered by Parks and Rec?
He usually sends them over, but last year really was the first full year of online mooring. I didn't get anything last year. So he just needs to send them over, and I think there's a separate wait list at Parks and Rec for Perry Green.
Right, but we just need to
When
know
you
who
say
they've
send them
assigned.
over,
Yeah.
Or just email them to me so that I can enter them into online, because all of those positions, those 10 spots there, were essentially unassigned last year. There was a couple of boats. If you went down to Perry Green last year, there might have been one or two boats, but there was a lot of vacant moorings on right off the wall there.
yeah.
Doesn't make sense that he has a wait list and there's empty moorings.
Well, yep.
Okay, so the reality is you don't have a list from him yet of who he's assigned for 2021 season.
I do not.
Okay, good. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just making a note. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else?
The Blessing of the Fleet and the parade is on Saturday.
Yes.
Ed, will you be there for that, or are you
I
going to have to be out of town?
Talked with a number of people, and Tim Russell this morning, and I wrestled with it. I would love to be in attendance, but in light of current circumstances, I don't know. I have this feeling in my gut that I really shouldn't be there, and for better or for worse, it's Tim understood. I elaborated on it quite a bit, and I just don't feel it's right for someone who is appointed by the state, confirmed by local town government, who is, resigning his or her position, should be a guest of honor. I guess maybe that's putting it where it should be, but I don't know. I just felt uncomfortable about the whole thing, and
right. We've included you in the acknowledgments as a member of the committee, so that you can't do anything about that. That's already in there.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
hopefully it will be a good day.
It's supposed to be a beautiful day, and
again, I think the forecast is for.
This was not something that was planned. It just came into my wheelhouse, I guess would be the proper explanation. And in light of that, and looking into the future a number of years, I felt that was the best move for me and my family at this time. But
we're happy for you.
Right. We certainly understand, and if you feel that if you feel that it would be uncomfortable to be there, then that's absolutely your call. And I think everybody understands. Sorry to have you go, but there's certainly nobody who doesn't understand taking a position that is better for your family. I mean, that's what everybody does. So I think. I think nobody would be critical of your decision.
Right.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything
so
else?
Jeff,
Go ahead.
The blessing of the fleet, is the program's done and it's going to roll? And is there anything that we need to be aware of, except that it's going to be a great day and a fun event?
Well, actually, I have to finish the program tonight, but I've already got Ed's name in it. I'm not going to change that page. Then we have to print the copies tomorrow, and just give me a second here. So I think Tim has everything under control, and the route of the parade will be the same as it's been in the past. And the time will be the same, starting at 11 o'clock, and then the blessing of the fleet about noon, or the how do I call this? Welcoming remarks. Our invited elected officials will welcome everyone to beautiful and historic Southport Harbor and the Lower Wharf. And I'm not laughing because it's amusing. It's a very nice event.
It is a very nice event.
And some of the bands, Tim said, that there's something going on in Rhode Island. So some of the bands that usually and the governor's second company, Governor's Horse Guard, will be participating again. That's quite interesting.
Cool.
There won't be any refreshments this year, Tim said, for the COVID-related reasons. I took that out. One year someone got annoyed because we forgot to say that they provided refreshments, and I said, "Well, sorry about that." But I'm teasing.
Yeah.
So it'll be a nice event. I hope.
It certainly will be.
And
hey, Jeff, while we're here, and I think it sort of pertains to the mooring committee, is the status of the upcoming preparations for the meeting to the RTM committee. You're putting together a summary of explanation for our proposed changes to the town code in support of the mooring rules update. What's the timing looking like on that? I was in communication with folks from RTM, and there's an expectation we're going to pass that stuff along to them. So
yes, and I had told Kim that I was going to work on it tonight, but I called and said that I'd like to finish the program for the blessing of the fleet. So we talked about if this is available on Monday morning, would that be all right?
Yeah, it's a week before their meeting, so it'll give them a week to look at it. And your thoughts about, since we're now having to provide this document, should we make the change to subparagraph E where there was a typo omitting the elimination of a few words.
Well, why don't we do that and just make a note that also we're submitting a corrected copy with a typographical
If we're sending
error.
one document, we could send them an updated one.
Correct.
Anyway.
Yes.
Right.
Sounds like it makes sense to do
Right.
that.
Right.
Okay.
Now, did you send when we addressed who is the letter addressed to? Is it to a person of the people that were on that committee? Jack, maybe if you could just send me the names.
I didn't get the attendees of the committee. I don't know who's in the committee. I'm sort of working with the moderator of the representative town meeting, and I haven't been given the people in that committee. I was given the names of the Republican 2 representatives who are going to be I can't think of the word that they use, but being the official supporters of our proposed change. But I'm not certain that those 2 people are actually on the committee, so because I've never seen the attendees of the committee yet. So I do have 2 other names, but I don't know for certain that they're members of the committee.
But I bet on the town website they have the RTM committees and the chair people. So
you know what? I'll take a look at that. I didn't think
maybe I could look at that.
I'm just looking at that now, and I'm sure it's here.
L and S committee, as I recall, or L and M. I forget what, something like
Standing
that.
committees. Education and recreation. Legislation and administration.
That's a L and A. Yep.
Yeah. So Josh Garskoff, Garskof, is the chair, and Bill Gerber, Gerber, is the vice chair.
Yeah, okay.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 people on that committee, including the Karen Walkerman, who I believe is the moderator for the full RTM.
She is, right. Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
So
okay.
maybe we address it to the moderator and then the 2 co-chairs of the L&A committee?
Yeah,
that sounds good.
I think that's not a bad idea. Okay. Karen Walkerman, Wackerman, is the moderator.
Okay.
Yeah, Karen with a K. Yeah.
Yeah, K. And
so, Jeff, we're going to take a look at those when you finish it, and then Kim and I will give you the green light, and then you'll send it to those 2 documents to those 3 people? Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Great.
Oh, Jeff, when you send it, I think I forwarded you the note that we got, but Karen was the one who recommended that we do this explanatory summary.
Right.
So we can just say it's in response to her request.
Well, I think, Jeff, when Jack and I presented to the RTM about 2 years ago, there was great curiosity about who we were and how we were different from other commissions, and great curiosity about the harbor, and of course everybody loves it. So I don't know that there would be an opportunity here to do too much in the way of education, but maybe I don't know. I leave that to you as you start to think about what to say and how to say it. All the overlapping jurisdictions are something that I don't think any of them know about, or if they know about them, certainly haven't focused on what the impact of that is on the work that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's put our heads together. I'll try to come up with some. I don't think we should have a very long transmittal letter.
No, I agree. Yeah.
We can say a few things.
I got the impression that it should sort of reference each section and specifically explain why we're suggesting the changes in each one of them.
All right.
It's really literally an explanation of the changes, the rationale for them.
Oh. Well, I wonder if we should we build that explanation into a document right after this section? think about
That's
that.
an interesting way to do it also.
Let's think about it.
She said it was really just an explanation of the changes that we're requesting. Kim's point of context, I think, is a good one, though.
Mm-hmm. All right. Just if you could just bear with me,
Yeah,
I'll
finish up what you have to do first, Jeff, and we've all had other stuff on our plate too. So come Monday, we can all really, or even over the weekend if you get a chance, we can all just kind of think about it and put our heads together early next week to maybe.
Well, I'm going to go down to the Blessing of the Fleet and
good.
Park after the parade starts and follow everybody down, and then take some photographs, and then I'll leave. But there's usually some. I don't know who may be. Boy, it would be nice. Well, anyway, thinking about the legislation that. But anyway, there's often people to speak with who are enjoyable and want to learn about what we're doing. So I'll look forward to going to the event.
This is totally beyond the mooring committee, but next year maybe we should have, if we haven't already passed, even if we have updated the plan, maybe we should have, the commission should have an event, a kiosk, a photo gallery, something.
Yes. Yeah.
As part of this event.
But the first parade was I believe it was to commemorate when the town acquired the property, the Lower Wharf property, from so it's very nice. But anyway, well, you of course know that. But
I'm sorry, Jeff. This is Ed. I'm sorry. What you kind of blacked out from my phone there for a second. Something like the original parade started from, and then I lost you.
The town acquired that property to preserve it as open space or recreation area, and I think
the Lower Wharf.
The Lower Wharf, yes,
yes.
And I think that the parade then followed. Well, we wouldn't have had the parade before then because there wouldn't have been any place to congregate all those people.
Right,
so I think I think that the first parade was right after that property was acquired. And Harris Russell, of course, was always involved with that.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Galpin. Yeah. Steve may have been involved with the first, the Blessing of the Fleet too. But those two were most influential in organizing it but anyway, it's a good event, and it. So we'll miss you with that.
That whole area is where I spent my youth, as they would say. Back in that day, it was known as Cunningham's Dock. So
yes,
years and years ago.
But
yeah. Well, anyway, we'll miss you at the event.
I will miss being there.
And somebody always points across the harbor at the sandbar and says, "When are you going to do something about that?"
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Every time. All right.
Okay. Can we adjourn?
Yes.
I think that seems we've covered a lot.
All right, good. Very good.
Thank you.
We'll talk to everybody on Tuesday officially.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, we're adjourned.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.